Hi there. In this video, we're going to talk about solving linear equations variable on both sides. I'm going to call this multi-step equations. And so multi-step equations really just means what it says. It's going to take multiple steps for you to solve an equation, okay? We got to think about a couple things. Let's first remember our opposite or inverse operations, okay? And that's going to give us this. The opposite of addition is subtraction. The opposite of multiplication is division. Okay, so we have to remember those. Okay, now we've got something that I'd like to introduce called combine like terms. And combining like terms is a very, very important thing. This will help simplify things and make solving equations much easier. But here's an example of combining like terms. And what I'm doing here is I have 4x plus 3x, okay? Since they both contain an x, okay, I can add these together, all right? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the number that's in front of my x, which is called my coefficient, and I'm going to add those and then keep the x. So 4 plus 3 is going to give me 7 and then keep the x, okay? And you can think of this, you can use it with any other variable term. So like if I'm using the variable y and I notice I have another y, I can combine these, okay? And so if I've got 5y minus 2y, I simply want to do the operations that it's telling me to do with the numbers out front and then keep the variable. So 5 minus 2 is going to give me 3, keep your variable y. Okay, that's the idea of combine like terms. Now let's look at a multi-step equation where we're going to have to combine like terms to solve. Okay, so on this type of equation, I want to solve this equation. And notice how I've got 4x and a negative 5x on the left side of my equal sign. So, here's my equal sign. This separates it into the left side and the right side of my equation, okay? So if I have 4x minus 5x, I want to combine those as like terms, okay? So 4x minus 5x. And again, I'm just going to take the numbers that are out front and operate with those. So 4 minus 5 is going to give me negative 1x. So I have negative 1x plus 7 is going to equal 3, okay? So from here, what I want to do is solve this, okay? And at this point, I have a two-step equation, all right? So I want to operate my 7 first. So the opposite of adding 7 would be subtracting 7 from both sides, okay? And then we get negative 1x is equal to, 7 minus 7 cancels out to 0. 3 minus 7 is going to give us, what is that, negative 4, okay? Now, what I want to do here is I want to, if I'm multiplying by negative 1, I want to move this number to the other side. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1, okay? So from here, negative 1 divided by negative 1 divides out to 1, okay? We can just drop down the x, and now you've got negative 4 divided by negative 1, which is going to be positive 4, okay? Let's look at another example on how to solve these types of equations. Okay, so on something like this, where you've got 4x plus 2 is equal to 2x minus 6, what you want to do is solve this for x, okay? And at this point, you have a choice as to what you can do to solve this. And there really is no wrong answer as long as you're doing legal math moves, doesn't matter, okay? So if I've got 4x over here and 2x, I want to combine my like terms. And the idea is to get my x's on one side and my numbers on the other, okay? Now, when I do that, I'm going to do this problem twice, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my 2x over to this other side and combine like terms. So I have a positive 2x. And what I want to do is move it to the other side. So if I have a positive 2x, the way I'd move that to the other side is I would subtract 2x. Okay? Do that to both sides. And what I'm doing is I'm now declaring that I'm going to move my variable term, have my variable terms on the left side. So x is going to be on the left. And so 2x minus 2x is going to cancel out to 0. All right, and I want to do the math here and combine my like terms. I have 4x minus 2x. Again, I'm just going to add or operate with my numbers in front of the x and just keep the x. So I have 4 minus 2, which is going to give me a value of 2x. And then drop down the 2, so plus 2, and that's going to be equal to negative 6. Okay, so from here, what I want to do is now I have a two-step equation, okay? And now I have a set of steps that I need to do, okay? This first step up here was a choice, and I'm going to show you doing it. I'm going to do it again, and we'll end up getting the same value for x. But let's go ahead and solve this. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, and 2 minus 2 is going to cancel out to 0. I've got 2x here is equal to negative 6 minus 2 is going to give me negative 8. All right, now 2 times some number gives you negative 8. So if I'm multiplying by 2, I want to divide both sides by 2. All right, and as a result, that's going to give me that x is going to equal negative 8 divided by 2, which is going to give you negative 4. All right, and so that's my value for x. All right, now we've done this problem one way. Let's do it another way. Okay, so our first step that we did was we moved our 2x over, okay? Now, I chose to do that because I knew that if I subtracted 2x from 4x, I would get a positive number, okay? But now we can do whatever we want. Now, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4x from both sides. I'm going to move that one over, all right? So this is another option for what you can do, all right? So if I have 4x minus 4x, it's going to cancel out to 0. I'm left with 2 is equal to, and then over here, I have 2x minus 4x, which is going to give me a negative 2x. So 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Carry down your x. And then let's bring down our negative 6. At this point here, you have a two-step equation. Now, x is on the right side, and that's totally fine. You can have that there. It doesn't matter. Okay, but I'm going to, again, just solve for x as I would any other two-step equation. So I'm going to move my negative 6 over. Okay, the opposite of subtracting 6 is to add 6 to both sides, all right? And as a result, I have 2 plus 6, which is going to give me, what is that, 8? And then that's going to be equal to negative 2x, okay? If I'm multiplying by negative 2, the opposite of multiplying by negative 2 is dividing by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. And so this is going to divide out, and you're going to get x on the right side, and that's going to be equal to negative 4. Okay, so either way you do that, this problem, okay, it doesn't matter. You'll end up getting the same thing for x, okay? So that's how we solve multi-step equations. Thanks.